Welcome to another Monday. Hello.
Hello.
So I got a lot of stuff. I got a lot of videos that I want to play.
Okay.
It's funny to watch at the beginning of the show. Like people start watching, and all of a sudden, like they dropped off. But that's fun. All right, I got a bunch of videos I want to get in, and then we'll talk about something. I have no idea what it's going to be, but it's going to be a lot.
All right.
So here we go.
A few days ago, I awakened to see on my dining room table a whole bunch of newspapers about President Trump, former President Trump, being indicted for what to me seemed like the phoniest charges I have ever seen in my life. He is the former President of the United States. He won tens of millions of votes in the last election. It is not at all clear that he's done anything that in any way endangers the national security, and yet he is being indicted and has the possibility of spending the rest of his life and several other people's lives in prison. I think we're now in an occupied country, very reminiscent of Paris under the German occupation. Scary.
It's a pleasure to be here and to introduce my friend, Congressman Boyle Bile.
Well, thank you. I'm Congressman Brendan Boyle.
I've never seen this before in my life. Current Major League Baseball players go at a team about who they are promoting. The Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence are a hate group, and the Dodgers decide in their pride ceremonies that they are going to honor this group. Well, Trevor Williams, he ain't having it. He's not on the Dodgers. Clayton Kershaw has been with the organization, says he has issues with the sisters and not the LGBT community. I don't get all emotional about this stuff, but damn, I did go to Catholic school. I do practice Catholicism. I am disgusted by some of the things, but why do I have to go to a baseball game and see a group that openly mocks my faith? Please explain that to me. You can't. The only explanation is the Dodgers did what every group is doing now in the interest of inclusion. Why do you have to be inclusive at a baseball game? Why can't you just have a baseball game?
Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence for their outstanding service to the LGBTQ+ community. Sister Unity and Sister Lydia. Our next guest is the only openly gay Major League Baseball player, current or former, alive.
Save our children! Viva Cristo Rey! Save our children!
I visited red states and blue states, and I found that the common values that unite us are deeper than our divisions. And I thought you might clap for that.
And now I'm standing next to the president again, next to a collapsed bridge here. And he is here to commit to work with the governor and the delegation to make sure that we get this fixed quick, fast as well, too. This is a president that is committed to infrastructure. Yeah, and then on top of that, the dual kind of law of the inflation bill that is going to make sure that there's going to be bridges all across like this, all across America getting rebuilt.
A watercraft that takes people to view the wreck of the Titanic is missing in the Atlantic Ocean. The tourist submersible visits the wreck near Newfoundland with dives lasting up to 10 hours. The company that charges $250,000 for the expedition views the famous ship almost 4,000 meters below the surface. The Boston Coast Guard said an operation to find it was underway.
It's a pleasure to be here and to introduce my friend, Congressman Boyle Bile.
Well, thank you. I'm Congressman Brendan Boyle.
I had to play that one again because that one makes me happy just watching it.
That guy is a turd. Holy smokes. How? Pennsylvania, what is wrong with you? How do you vote for that guy? How does he get any votes?
Look, man, I'm not even going to make fun of the fact that he dresses weird because, I mean, that's what I like to wear, and so maybe I would do the same thing. And I'm not even making fun of the fact that he's had a freaking stroke because that's awful and that's terrible. It could happen to any of us, and that is absolutely awful. However, if you're, how are you elected to office, and that's what you are like?
If you've had a stroke and it prevents you from doing the job of leadership, then you don't lead. Simple as that.
If I have a stroke during this show, I'm expecting that you're going to take over and finish it for me, kick me out of the studio and say, when you recover, you can come back to doing the show.
No, I'm going to expect you to keep doing it.
But until then, I don't want to sound like this guy.
And now I'm standing next to the president again, next to a collapsed bridge here. And he is here to commit to work with the governor and the delegation to make sure that we get this fixed quick, fast as well, too. This is a president that is committed to infrastructure. Yeah, and then on top of that, the dual kind of law of the inflation bill that is going to make sure that there's going to be bridges all across like this, all across America getting rebuilt.
All right. I'm committed to the infrastructure, too.
I'm not going to let him go with having a stroke. He just doesn't know the word.
You think?
Yeah, I definitely think that. I definitely think he doesn't know the word because he stumbled over it and fucked it up a couple different ways. He doesn't know the word. It's not that he couldn't say it because his tongue half works or something. He literally doesn't know the word.
To be fair, Biden is like a collapsed bridge, yes.
The jewel of the infrastructure.
Wow, Pennsylvania. Yeah, Doug, you're correct. I mean, man, I understand being like a blue state and you want to vote D all the way down the line. That's fine. I get it. I mean, that's what most people do anymore, and it's sad. Yeah. It shouldn't be like that. People should actually be informed when they go to vote. But how stupid do you have to be to vote for this guy? Couldn't you have found anything better to vote for? There's had to be something on. I would have just left it blank. I mean, What are you doing?
Well, and I'm going back to the dressing as well. If you were meeting with the president, any president of the United States, you would wear a suit.
Yes. It's
any president.
It's like hiring Seth to be expected to win a marathon. Absolutely.
Well, unfortunately, this guy didn't win the mental marathon. He doesn't even know the word infrastructure that he's in charge of funding. I mean, think about that for a minute. This guy is in charge of funding infrastructure in a state.
Infrastructure.
Infrastructure. You're right. Infrastructure.
Yeah.
This is the guy that has to write the check. He can't even say the word for what he's writing the check for.
First time caller Jim is correct. TikTok is good for something. It really is. It is a whole lot of fun. I'm suggesting everybody right now, before they ban it, get on TikTok, find half-naked girls and Fetterman videos.
Yes.
Because that'll keep you occupied for days.
Yeah, it will. And girls jumping rope.
There should be a competency test for Congress. Well, then half of them wouldn't be there.
Nah, I think most of them are smarter than you think.
You think AOC is smart?
No, I don't think she'd be there. But I think
Sheeta Tlaib is smart.
Yeah, I do.
She's
Actually,
married to like her cousin or some crap like that. Isn't that her?
that doesn't make her stupid.
I guess not.
It makes her smart enough to know what avenues to take to get ahead. How much money you think she's worth now?
I don't know.
Being in the squad. You know, there's a $1 million book deal just waiting for her time to end.
Yeah, there is. I did forget. Kevin reminded me. I apologize. Happy Juneteenth, everybody. Happy Juneteenth.
It's a special day for me.
I don't know why we're doing a show. I'm taking off. We have to finish the entire thing. I am. Today is a holiday. My wife had off today.
Wow.
Because of Juneteenth. So I don't know why we're doing a show.
I don't know either. I mean, I generally celebrate it the same way I do Arbor Day or, I don't know, Sweetest Day. You know, it usually has the same connotation. So I don't know why you insisted on us coming in for this.
It's
hallowed day.
There's holidays for everything.
Is it hallowed or hollow day?
I don't know what it is.
It's pandering day.
It is.
Another pandering day.
I don't understand the entire thing. I mean, look, I think it's for a good cause. I mean, we should celebrate the fact that slavery was ended. I don't know why we picked, last year to finally do it.
I thought we did it for a whole month, every month in February.
No, we
Is that different?
That is different. That is very different. Maybe the day should have been in it, but I think this commemorates the actual day. But
okay.
And look, I'm not trying to say anything bad about it. By no means am I trying to be racist, but I'm kind of getting sick and tired of all these different holidays. And oh, by the way, I hate to inform the left out there.
Yeah.
But Donald Trump is the one that wanted to get this done originally, and wasn't able to.
Juneteenth?
Yeah, he wanted to get it done and wasn't able to, but Biden is taking the credit for Juneteenth. And so that's fine.
Some of these comments are hilarious.
Yeah, I don't know which ones to put up, though.
Put them up. Put them up.
Caucasians aren't supposed to be off today. Pride fan rainbow. Look, I have to admit, too, when I worked at the radio station.
Yeah.
On Martin Luther King Day.
Yes.
It was the funniest shit ever. Because myself, Triv, Glenn Forbes, whoever happened to be the producers at the time, because there were many, Goldman, whoever it was, we would all have Martin Luther King Day off because it was an iHeart holiday.
Okay.
And then the people working would be Andre Knott, Ken Robinson, every African-American, every black guy that they had working at the radio station, because they only had like 3,
right,
were working on Martin Luther King Day, while Triv and I were outside smoking cigarettes and going to lunch together because we had the day off.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I felt awful about it, but I don't think it was the right thing to do.
Nah, whatever. You know what, dude? I know quite a few black guys that would tell you that all of these holidays are bunk. Just like any other Heritage Day. Pick one, it doesn't matter. They're all bunk. And I think if you ask anybody but fringe people about any of these days, yeah, they'll take the day off. But there's very few black families that are sitting down to have a discussion about the freedom of slaves today. They're not sitting around their dinner table saying, let's have everybody share your Juneteenth moment.
And I don't understand why, if it was going to be a holiday, why this is so late in the happening. I mean, this is something that, it's a day that I guess should be remembered and people should know about and be educated about it. But enough with the holidays. Enough with celebrating everything at this point. We celebrate pizza. We celebrate hamburgers. We celebrate
sibling day.
Siblings. We take your daughter to work day. All this crap. It's enough. How about I think we talked about this earlier. Wait, hang on. Our mattress is on sale today. Most likely they are. We talked about this earlier a little bit, though, that we should really just cram all of this junk into like a week.
Yeah.
Whatever. A month.
1 week
1
would
month.
be great.
And
National whatever you want to celebrate week.
Week. Yes. Celebrate all the shit that you like week.
And you know what? I even know the week to do it.
Wherever you are week. Yeah.
I know what week to do it.
All right.
The week between Christmas and New Year's.
Perfect. Nothing's going on then.
Nothing's going on. A lot of people are off work anyway. It's the perfect time.
Celebrate everything.
Yeah.
Go crazy. Have parties in the streets naked. I don't care what you do. Celebrate everything 1 week. That's what you got. And then how about the rest of the time, the rest of the year? We live as Americans and just go to work and go to bed and do everything that we do normally.
Yeah.
And quit celebrating everybody.
Even for our own country, the whole reason we get to live the way we do and do every single thing that we want to do is because we live here. We only give that one damn day.
Yeah, no.
We give that one day.
Yes.
You know.
Or veterans, the veterans get a day.
And
Memorial
really,
Day,
and
day.
let's go back to Veterans Day. Other than people if there wasn't Facebook or Twitter, we wouldn't be celebrating it at all.
Yeah.
We never did until there was a way to say, "Hey, thank you for your service." Put in your post. Before that, I can tell you for a fact, as a veteran, I never heard word one about Veterans Day until social media came about. Never did I get calls from friends who are like, "Hey, bro, thanks for your service." It just didn't happen.
Yeah.
It's just another way for people that didn't serve to get attention on themselves. Well, look at me. I'm supporting our troops.
Waiting for take a dump day. There probably is a take a dump day.
There probably is that day. I'm sure there is.
Probably like a national toilet day.
I'm going to look right now. National.
See, this is what I'm talking about. That's why I can't put up all these comments. Come on.
It's too close to Father's Day? Is that what you're saying?
Halfway through pandering month, face fuchsia poop shape.
Does not look like there is a National Toilet Day.
No.
I'm surprised
we're starting
by this.
one. I am starting National
Don't make it. There is a national. I'm sorry. World Toilet Day is November 19th.
See? All right. So November 19th, we will be celebrating National Toilet Day by doing the show on the John.
Yes. Each year on November 19th, World Toilet Day celebrates toilets and highlights the global sanitation crisis that affects billions of people around the world who are living without access to safely managed toilets. Are you kidding me with this?
Well, I mean, look, to be fair, I did go to Jamaica once, right? And
Yeah.
stayed in a very nice, posh resort kind of thing. And then they had a wall around the resort.
Yeah.
And if you looked over the wall, they had this little town of just nothing. It was like mud huts and like metal walls and stuff like that. And then they would take a dump, like literally in the ground, and then bury it. So, I mean, there are places in the world that don't actually have toilets. So I guess here, though, National Toilet Day should be celebrated then, that we actually have them.
Yeah, but maybe they should celebrate it more in India or somewhere where they don't have toilets in every home to kind of, raise awareness.
There it is.
There's the sign, National Toilet.
Look, with the thinker.
The thinker on the toilet.
I tried to do my best thinking. I found all the videos that I played to open the show on the toilet.
There you go. The only thing missing from this is instead of having his hand on his chin, he should be holding his cell phone.
Oh, it's World Toilet Day. Wow.
World Toilet Day.
Not National Toilet Day.
No, it's
Crazy.
World Toilet Day.
Look at that.
We celebrate this all around the world. World Toilet Day.
That's a day to celebrate when you've been constipated for days.
I wonder why they wouldn't. Well, I guess because it's World Toilet Day. I was going to say if it's National Toilet Day, they could make it after Thanksgiving. Like the same as Black Friday.
Yeah,
It could also
right?
be National Toilet Day.
That's a good day. Absolutely. Pick that one. Toilets
Oh,
are so
we're off and
important,
running tonight, aren't we?
especially when you have one that has a weak flush. See, all right, I have to admit, when I go to like anywhere, like even when I got this home, I made sure to walk around every toilet.
Sure.
And check the flushing situation. Because I can't have a weak flush, man. That's not happening.
Well, no.
If I go to a hotel room and they got a weak flush, I'll use the one in the lobby because the one in the lobby generally has a better flush.
You want the one that's like whoosh.
Yeah. I need something. I need like Hurricane Irma to go through the
Right, exactly. It damn near sucks the ceramic off the bowl.
Yeah.
Boy, Scott Deitche's going to be thrilled to come onto this
Yeah,
show.
he's going to enjoy this show.
He's going to be like, fuck that. I'm not coming onto there.
We do have Scott Deitche coming up in just a little bit. All things mafia, mob, author. He's an expert in the field, I guess.
Yeah. I guess you and I have now become officially obsessed with the mob.
Yeah.
We meet one mobster and we're officially obsessed with the mob.
Did you watch your shirt? I have not watched the Godfathers yet.
For everybody that wants to know, I am going to gift Seth the Godfather box set on Saturday when I see him. I'm going to give him my box set of Godfather 1, 2, and 3, and therefore he will have no more excuses not to have watched the greatest movie of all time.
Now, do you have to watch them in order?
You don't have to, but it'll sure make a lot more sense if you do.
I
You
started
should
watching.
watch 1 before 2. I'll say that. 3 is kind of a standalone, but you definitely should watch 1 before 2 or it won't make a ton of sense.
I watched Goodfellas again the other night, but the only problem is it was on one of these commercial television stations.
Right.
So half the movie is an hour shorter because you didn't hear all the swear words.
Right.
It was like 35 minutes long when you take all the fucks and everything else. So it was a quick movie to watch on regular television.
Of course, and then every time anything gets good in it, then it's like you get interrupted by the girl from Lume or something.
Speaking of toilets. Yes.
Speaking of toilets, it's my toilet humor.
But I want to ask Scott about that, like Goodfellas and stuff, because reading some about him, it seems like he may not be thinking that the films translate into what was really going on.
Well, I mean, that's perfect fodder for. I mean, this guy knows the mob. He knows mobsters. He knows everything. I mean, he really. I've known Scott for a while. He knows everything about the mob. So, and he's written 6, 8 books about the mob and everything else. I mean, he's definitely locked in on the mob. So he will know, no question.
Martin Luther came up with the 95 Theses on the toilet of that time. I learned that now at Ignatius. I don't know how we got stuck on toilets.
Because of National Toilet Day, because we're celebrating everything now.
Because everything needs to be celebrated. I'm trying to think of what else isn't celebrated. I mean, there has to be something that is not celebrated.
I would think everything is celebrated now.
Because I think, was it April or May was Indonesian Pacific Islander Month or something like that?
There's a day for every. I'll bet you I'm going to type in just random. We both are sitting in front of a microphone. Microphone Day.
What heritage are you?
I don't know. I think I'm Irish, maybe, like German Irish or something. I don't know. I've always found heritage to be dumb, so I've never celebrated. I know there's some Irish nonsense in me because my grandmother at one time took me to kiss the Blarney Stone in Ireland. So I know there's some Irish. I don't know if that's all Irish or. I've never got into it. I've never cared. You know, what my great-great-great-grandfather did has no bearing on me at all. So I never gave a shit.
I think that toilet is smarter than Fetterman. Let's see.
It's a pleasure to be here and to introduce my friend, Congressman Boyle Bile.
Well, thank you. I'm Congressman Brendan Boyle.
April 21st is Microphone Day.
Nice.
There's a day for everything.
We missed it. How did we not celebrate
Microphone Day? Well,
swear jar for Seth. I didn't say anything. I said one, but I was making a point. It wasn't for random swearing. It was just. I was making
Well, you get a
point.
swear jar. I get a swear shipping
Barrel.
container.
But I wasn't swearing for effect. I was, or for any, even in conversation, I was saying that the movie, if you take out all those words.
Oh, wait a minute. This is we have conflicting information here. International Microphone Day is on January 2nd. So there's 2 microphone days.
Nice. Do you understand this from One Love?
I had a Alert saying you guys are going live, but have to come back. At Chris, I wanted to know breaking news about the live PD show. What? A&E is suing Reels, and it has been taken. I'm not aware of this. That sucks, though, if that is the truth, which I'm sure it probably is, because that show rules. But they did totally steal it. Listen, are you familiar with that show at all?
Live PD?
Well, I'm sure you're aware of Live PD, right?
Yeah, of course.
Well, when they took it off the air because of inclusion again, because of the left complaining, they went off for 3 years, but they started a new show called On Patrol Live.
Okay.
And On Patrol Live is Live PD. It's exactly the same guys. Same guys even.
Yeah. All right.
It's Styx Larkin and the other two
Yeah.
guys. And Dan Abrams and the other guy, the other cop. I mean, it's literally the same. They do the same bits about we need your help thing. It's a great show. I watch it. I was not aware it got taken off. No.
Wow.
That sucks. Damn A&E scraps it and won't let it be on. That sucks. I'm looking that up right now.
So you see the mention of Michael Franzese, father, in Goodfellas.
Yes. I actually watched Goodfellas today.
I watched that scene actually last night. I was going to pull it for today, but then I didn't. White Supremacy Day is not celebrated.
It's not?
You have to look that up. That has to be.
I think if you ask most people that are not white, they'll say every day is White Supremacy Day.
Tampon Day?
Well, let's look that up too. Tampon Day. National Tampon Day, May 12th, 2024 is the next one. Yes.
Get out of here.
That's serious.
I'm celebrating that one too.
Present.
All right, here's some breaking news.
National Tampon Day.
TV. It's not being taken off, Chris.
Good, thank God.
They just got signed for another season.
Thank God.
National Tampon Day. Is that a dude holding it? I can't tell.
I really object to you making a decision about this person's gender, Seth.
I apologize.
Stop it.
Is that a
man with a penis?
Gender fluid person holding that tampon?
Yes.
Look, history of National Tampon Day. Not much is known, it says.
Not much is known about the history of National Tampon Day, except it is observed on May 12th annually.
Nice.
According to Wikipedia, again, it goes into the definition of a tampon. Let's see here. Let me skip that. Before the invention of modern tampons and pads, women in different cultures and civilizations used various methods to protect their modesty during menstruation. Or menstruation, as what's his name would say. Ancient Egyptian women are said to have used softened papyrus during their menstrual flow. Hippocrates? Hippocrates, the father of medicine, documented that ancient Greek women made tampons by wrapping bits of wood with lint. Ouch.
How uncomfortable is that?
Ouch.
I mean, I wouldn't know. Well, maybe I would, but that's...
You have to think they'd be bleeding from getting cut?
I went to it was like a national sex museum with my wife when we were in Vegas the last time.
Yeah.
Literally because we stayed at Trump Hotel.
Okay.
And it was in walking distance from Trump Hotel. I don't think that was meant to be. I think it just happened that way.
Right.
But so there was this national sex museum literally across the street. And so we walked over there one day. It wasn't that expensive to get in. But I'll tell you what, the coolest museum I've ever been to in my entire life. I'll get to the tampon thing in a minute. But they had a room that you went in. It was like a circular velvet couch. Yeah, Scott Deitche is going to cancel. It was a circular velvet couch in this room. And on the walls of this room, nothing but porn.
Oh, wow.
It was just TVs, must have been 50 TVs at least. Just of old porn, new porn, like old 70s porn to brand new porn. It was all over the place. Great room. Then they had like a Star Wars section.
Okay.
Where they had there was like a Star Wars porn, but they had like a land speeder. Like if you're a Star Wars fan, you know, the land speeder, and they had like a Luke Skywalker like mannequin standing there, and they had the porn playing in the background.
Wow.
But this is an actual museum that you can walk through, and they have like ancient artifacts of stuff that were like original sex toys, original tampon stuff, and all that kind of, like, and it's behind glass. Like you would go to like our Natural History Museum and see an artifact behind glass with a little plaque description, and that's what it was. It was an actual sex museum of all these different artifacts, and I found it fascinating.
That's funny. Dude, there's museums for, just like there's days for everything, there's museums, I think, for everything too, isn't there?
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, this show's going out of control. Tampon Day has been canceled since the bleed panties were just invented. All right. And now anybody can buy tampons. I mean, it really does work that way because anybody, according to the one video that I had a couple weeks ago, men can bleed.
Yeah, of course they can.
Hands on exhibit.
Did you know, speaking of museums, that there is a national Last Supper museum?
Really?
Yes.
Is it? It's not next to the sex museum.
No, it's in Arizona. Let me pull it up here. I actually know the guy that is the curator of it. Last Supper Museum. But what he collects is Last Supper memorabilia. And who would have thought that there would be Last Supper memorabilia? But look at this nonsense. I can't imagine making a trip to wherever this place is. It's somewhere in Arizona, Douglas, Arizona. But look, all these different pieces.
Like dogs and stuff sitting at the Last Supper table?
This is cats. This is dogs. This is Legos. This is Last Supper in a bottle. A Whammo Frisbee. Wow. Berry Hill Bears. Glass image. What is this one? Missing Man Formation.
Is that sacrilegious? I would say so.
I would think so. Knowing Eric that runs the place, I would definitely think so. But
wow.
Yeah, I mean he's got them for days.
I mean, I know they have like that Noah's Ark thing.
Yeah. There's a bubblegum card of the Last Museum. What? There you go. The Last Supper.
My wife is finally listening to the show. We had a Groupon, and the Larry Flint Memorial was awesome.
Groupon.
We did have a Groupon. We got on to go to that sex museum. We had a Groupon, and so it was really cheap for us to get in.
You didn't feel bad going into a sex museum with a coupon?
Man, but it was things in Vegas aren't cheap. So
yeah, I get that, but still.
You ever seen the show?
There's certain things you should pay full price for.
You ever seen Counting Cars on History Channel or something like
sure.
Count Customs?
Yeah.
I went to that museum.
Okay.
And that was kind of, it wasn't that expensive. But then we also went to the sex museum. We did have a Groupon. It was hysterical, though, because back then I worked with Geraldo, right?
Okay.
And so we got through all this museum of sex stuff, and we get to the downstairs area, and the first thing I see on a TV in this porn museum is Geraldo Rivera's picture. Talking about Larry Flint.
Why were they showing Geraldo? Because of the mustache, or
because he did the whole Larry Flint
the vault or whatever? No, that was
a hole in the wall type of place. No, it was a very respectable kind of place. Just a lot of porn all over.
You missed the joke there, dude.
I'm sorry. What'd you say?
No, his joke on that the hole in the wall.
No, I got it.
He should put glory in parentheses.
Yeah, I know.
Maybe.
No, I got it. I just wasn't going there. Believe me. I have to admit, though, man, it was kind of like cool sitting like in this that round theater kind of thing with all the TVs, and like my wife is on one side, and like this kind of cute chick sat on the other side, so we're all sitting there, everybody's watching porn together. Right. Weird, but it was all right.
Wow, we have definitely gone completely off the rails today. All right, that's fine.
Man,
that's not nice.
We heard a song saying "Women Only Bleed." Not in
Alice
2023.
Cooper. Alice Cooper.
Not in 2023. He's got to change those lyrics. Actually, breaking news: Alice Cooper's being sued over the song "Women Bleed."
Only people that claim their women bleed.
Pornaldo Rivera. Sounds definitely like the Groupon was happening. Okay. Last Supper was the name of the package my best man bought at Crazy Horse before from a bachelor party.
Ugh. Is there anything worse than eating at a strip club?
I ate at Fox's Den once.
Oh, dude, you are
Fox's
daring.
Den was on like Brook Park Road there.
Yeah.
And yeah, there was something on it. I don't know what was made with, but
Dude, I just remember one time I used to work over there near is it the Silver Horse or whatever there by Solon?
yeah.
By Tri-C.
Okay.
And at one point, everybody, like a group of us, were like, "Yeah, let's just go down there and look at some naked chicks and go over there for lunch." So we go over for lunch, and it's a buffet lunch in a strip club, and I just couldn't do it. And
Really?
believe me, I'm as filthy an animal as anybody has ever seen, and just seeing this open sandwich meat and potatoes and stuff and day strippers, right here 50 feet from it. I was just like, no, I can't eat that. That's just going to be funky. Just no.
My Chuck E. Cheese token. So Rocky's Brook on Brook Park Road. Man, I've been in that place once.
Chuck E. Cheese?
Both. Rocky's and Chuck E. Cheese.
Right.
Both are filthy.
Oh,
in
yeah.
my opinion.
I miss those. I haven't been to Brook Park in years. Did they clean up that whole strip?
Yeah, there's not a whole lot down there anymore. It's just, I think Crazy Horse is still down there. I think
Is the Lido Lounge still around there somewhere?
That's on Lido Lounge is on 117th
Is it still around?
near Lakewood. It was a few years ago. My wife went up there. For a
Yeah,
while.
my friend John had his bachelor party there once.
Yeah.
We took a bus. I don't know what, like, we had this bus that was just a rolling bus of booze.
Yeah.
And weed, and just got drunk and stoned out of our minds. And then we ended up at the Lido Lounge. It's like, of all the places we could stop, instead of going to Diamonds or something, we ended up at the Lido Lounge.
Yeah, it's not exactly the highest class joint.
Oh, it was just the worst. And we go in this place. There's like 3 strippers total working the place. The best looking stripper might have been a 4, and then all of us are buying lap dances for the groom, because none of us even wanted lap dances. But we had to do something for the groom. So we gave him lap dances from these 3s and 4s. It was really a bad night.
My first ever experience at a strip club.
Yeah.
This is off the rails today, but that's fine. First ever experience at a strip club. I went down with a bunch of friends. Must have been like just 18, 19 years old. I don't think we were even old enough to get into the Crazy Horse.
Sure.
But, it was Crazy Horse on St. Clair down there, downtown.
Right.
And we get there, and we're just a bunch of young punk kids and whatever.
Sure.
And so yes. I think I'm going to call Tony.
Anyway, go ahead.
So I get there, and there's this van. It looks like one of these kidnapper vans.
Okay.
One of these old 70s vans.
Right.
And the doors open up in the back. And this guy pops out. And he talks to, there's 3 of us. And he's like, hey, my wife is in the back of the van. Anything you want, $20. And I'm sitting there going, dude, I brought money for dances tonight.
Sure.
$20, whatever I want, I can just leave. Because I'm good to go there. I'm out.
Right.
And then I started thinking about all the horrible situations. Thank God that, when I was just 18 and, in a mood to go to a strip club, I wasn't stupid. Because I can only imagine what the hell was in the back of that van now.
Oh,
if I would have gotten in the back of that van, I'd have been dead. I'd have been
Yep.
left on the side of St. Clair's. My buddies would have been laughing at me, dumbass, getting in the back of that van. But who knows what the hell was in the back of that van? But he was offering $20 for his wife. It was crazy.
My God.
Pinkies. Do you remember Pinkies?
Yeah, of course.
Pinkies Adult Bookstore and Strip Club was just off of Brook Park, like 150th. That's another place that was crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy, and it was, even by my filthy standard, it was a little too disgusting for me.
Yeah, it was really bad in there, man.
Did you ever go to Pinkies during the day.
Yeah, of course, because that's it was yeah, they were rough.
That was a half a step above cattle. It was brutal in there. Oh my God.
There's a place up the street from me called the Peppermint Hippo. That is so funny, Scott, that you say that, because I literally was talking with my wife about the Peppermint Hippo. It popped up on like one of her Facebook pages for no reason. There was an ad for the Peppermint Hippo, and so I looked it up, and there's this girl there, Bambi Ambi or something like that. I don't know. But I looked her up, and she was a good-looking broad. But I mean, yeah, there's a place called the Peppermint Hippo down in Akron, I guess. I've never been there. I don't think I would go. Maybe Tony would finally get good reception at Lito's.
He might. You never know. That is funny.
So what was your first experience?
I was either 14 or 15. And I was working for, my dad was a traffic manager, meaning that he booked trucks for Brown Derby right out of Northfield. It's now like that big furniture place there across the street from the abandoned Ford plant, whatever that place is called. But it was the Brown Derby at that point. And I used to work there after school. So he sent me, they bought a building down in the flats that was full of, it was like an abandoned warehouse, but it was full of air conditioners and refrigerators and stuff that had just been left. And it was a full warehouse of this stuff. So they sent me and this guy, Leon, down to clean this building out. And this guy, Leon, was absolutely insane. I mean, legitimately nuts. Like, to where we would go in and he'd start screaming in the empty building, and then he would fight any bums that were in the building. It would, like, you know, I'm 14 years old or whatever. I'm scared to death, and he's throwing punches with homeless guys or whatever that are squatting, getting them out. It was dangerous, right? So we're going down there. We're working down there cleaning this building for about 3 weeks over the summer. And at one point he's like, let's go to lunch. I was like, okay. We go down, like we were on the third floor. We go down and there was what was down there? Crazy Horse or whatever, right on the edge of the flats. It was in the flats on the East Bank. I think it was free. Yeah, it was right at the end across from like Shooters and that.
Oh, Circus.
The Circus. That's right. Circus. So we go into Circus.
How do I know?
And I'm 14 years old. And they were so afraid to mess with him that they just let me come in with him. And we go into the strip club, and I'm just loving it at 14 years old. I'm like, yes. You know, and he orders me beer. He's like, yeah, bring us a couple of beers. They bring beers. I ended up so hammered. 14 years old. I'm hammered. I'm watching women. You know, I'm like, this is being a grown-up's going to be the best thing ever, man. But that was my first ever strip club. We stayed there probably 2 or 3 hours just watching strippers and drinking. That's awesome. Great. I was 14.
Yeah, Circus wasn't that bad of a place, man. I kind of like that.
No, Circus was nice. Circus had that, like the two-side thing, didn't it?
Yeah.
Like the bikini
topless
bottoms
then,
or whatever on one side, and then
naked.
Nothing on the other side, but you had to drink carrot juice or something.
My cousin owned a bikini bar on 200th Street in Cleveland. Girls, the most fugly you ever saw. Made a ton of money, though.
I'll bet.
Yeah, man, those places, I don't care how ugly the girls are. They're not ugly for the guy that wants to go to a strip club.
Guys are animals. Let's just call it the way it is. We are animals. We're not sophisticated. When women get with us and they're like, "Don't look at women. You're barking up the wrong tree." We are no better than dogs looking for a crotch. We are the same. We're exactly the same as that. We just have the ability to pretend we're not doing it a little better than a dog.
Yeah,
but we're the same.
Look, I don't even hide it anymore. And
no.
Look, I love my wife like you can't believe, man. My wife is a saint. And I could never get better if I tried 1 billion times. She's the best thing ever for me. But you can't help if some good-looking girl walks by, you're going to stare. I mean, it just kind of happens that way. And I don't blame her if she sees some hot dude walking by. I mean, you know, we're people find other people attractive.
Right.
I don't see what the problem is.
Yeah, there's none.
I still love this. This was funny. The charge based on the stretch marks of each stripper. It's at the Hippo. It's gonna be like $400 to get in.
Right. Well, I just got a late breaking message from Scott Deitche. He's going to be about a half hour late. So
Half hour.
yeah, we're going to push till 5:15. Is that okay?
Yeah, we got Charlie Callani though at 5:30.
Okay.
Charlie Callani's coming on to talk
We'll
about
make it
his
work.
Lakewood deal. So
We'll make
we'll
it
make
work.
everything work.
All right. I'll just say okay, but earlier is better.
The better.
All right. Everything going at full speed today.
Yeah, we'll talk about strippers for the next 45 minutes.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, well, strip clubs. We've answer me this question: are you a fan of strip clubs?
Now?
Ever? Were you ever?
Yes, absolutely.
Were you
fan of
really?
strip clubs when I was growing up. Because I was just a young idiot. Now, I realize that, they don't actually like me.
Right.
And so, when they realize that they actually don't care, then, that kind of sucked. You're just wasting money at that point.
Right.
It sucks to wait.
It was great when you assumed that they actually were like into you.
Yeah, like every time I got like one of those lap dances, I was like, all right, she's gonna come home with me,
Right.
or she's gonna want to meet up afterwards, and it never happened. And then I grew up and realized that no, they just want that extra 20 or whatever.
Yeah. While they can still see money in your wallet, they're like, yeah, maybe we could meet up after tonight.
Yeah, and as soon as I say this is the last I got, all right, well, I'll see you.
Yeah.
Thanks, honey. It was great knowing you.
Or, I got to get back to work. That was always the cue for me was run out of money. It's like, I got to get back to work.
All right. Yeah, it was fun. I went to a strip club. Dude, all these strip club stories have to do with my wife. We went to a strip club the week that we got married in Vegas.
Okay.
And it was a great place right on Fremont Street, old
Okay.
Vegas.
Yeah.
And so it was we were drinking and having a good time, walking around
Sure.
with these big football glasses of beer and stuff.
Right.
And so we were pretty lit. And I was like, why don't we, stop in one of these clubs? She's like, yeah, that'd be great. And so she bought me a dance, and then I bought her a dance. And halfway through her dance, she got up. She was just uncomfortable, didn't want to be there. And she's like, can you give the rest of my dance to my husband? I'll take it. All right.
Dude, I have stripper stories for days. Dude, when I first got single, my friend Stephanie and our other friend Adam took me to a strip club down in Lima called the Landing Strip. Great name for a strip club.
Yeah.
And just as a side note for this club, the all-time winner of they start advertising on Facebook the week of graduation every year that they're hiring new strippers. They literally do that. They're like, are you just graduating high school? We got a job for you.
Got to pay for that college.
Yeah, come on in. Like they're on it. It's called the Landing Strip down in Lima. So we go down to the Landing Strip one night. Just hammered. I mean, my friend Stephanie at the time lived down there. So we had been at her place just getting crocked. And then we were like, let's go see some strippers. Let's go see some strippers. So we go down to the Landing Strip. So the way this place was configured was it had a dance floor with a pole on it.
Yeah.
But then it had I'd say about 1.5 2 foot high rail around it, type of a deal, around the floor.
Yeah.
And then it had chairs sitting around the rail. And that's how everybody, you would sit around the rail and the girls would come by and do their thing. And then you would kind of stick the dollar in their G-string type of a deal, right? Well, this place gets nuts. Like this place gets, the girls end up sitting on the rail with their legs on your shoulders and, putting it all in your face. It's really wild place, right? So at one point, I'm all trashed. I was like, $20, I'll pick her up. And my friend Adam is like, yeah, go ahead. Courtney's like, yeah, because we don't live in Lima, so we don't care. What are they gonna do? Kick us out of town? So what? So sure enough, girl puts her legs on my shoulders. I get ready to get up, and my friend Stephanie jumps in and pushes her off me because she knew I was just gonna flip her over. But yeah, the landing strip, that place is oof. Another
flat Earth guy is checking in. It's called self-control. I am a one-woman man.
Well, good for him.
So am I. I'm not saying that, look, I have the utmost respect and love for my wife, and I don't go to strip clubs now because I don't want to waste money. But I don't think it's like going to a movie, right? I mean, it's not like I'm getting anything out of it.
Yeah.
It's not like they're doing anything to me. It's like going to see something that entertains you, and then you go home afterwards.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly.
If anything, it might spark your relationship with your significant other.
Yeah. You know what? Judging, unless you're one of these creepers that goes out and rapes these women or something, it's entertaining. I say it all the time. Sex is like baseball. It's not that important. It's just something you do to have fun. And if it is more to you than that, then that's your relationship. But for most of us, most guys, it ain't that important. It ain't the end all be all. It ain't rose petals leading to the bedroom. It's just not.
Speaking of Flat Earth guy, he's going to be on next Monday.
Yes.
1 week from today.
Unless we keep going with this conversation.
Yeah, unless we keep going. I will not ask Flat Earth guy, Plain Truth guy, anything about this kind of stuff. I'm always respectful to him. He is a friend, and I will absolutely have nothing but respect for his opinions,
of course,
and for what he's going to talk about, because I think he's got a lot of great stuff that he's going to discuss next Monday night.
Absolutely. It's going to be fun.
I think it'll be fun.
It will be fun.
So, Seth, if you were rich, you'd be at the Lido right now. If I were rich,
wouldn't be at the Lido.
I wouldn't be at the Lido. I'd pick a lot better place than that. I wouldn't be.
I think you're at the perfect economic structure to be at the Lido right now.
Right. Scrape up the change on the ground. I can get a Lido.
That's right.
National Stripper Day. When is that?
I'm positive that's a day. Let's see here. National Stripper Day. That is June 9th. We just missed it.
June 9th. How did we miss that day?
Yeah, we just missed it. We'd like to make this national holiday for everyone to visit your favorite strip club every year on June 9th to show your appreciation. National Stripper Appreciation Day.
I've never been inside Christie's.
I
think I was there one time for like a minute, and I walked out. It wasn't for anything. It was for work-related stuff.
It's clean, but it's always packed. It always has so many people in it that it's like, it's like, do you really want to be 51st in line?
Right.
You're gonna. By the time the girl gets over to dance for you, she smells like 30 other guys' cologne. It's like, no.
All right, I don't want to fall too far behind. Let's take a quick break.
Okay.
All right, we'll be right back.
Hey everybody, it's Don Doc, and when I'm feeling nostalgic, I always go to Pinball PA. You gotta go check it out. It's a lot of fun.
Stop what you're doing and start making memories at Pinball PA, located at 2284 Broadhead Road, Suite 10B in Aliquippa, Pennsylvania. We have over 420 video games and pinball machines to play, and all games are set to free play, so no quarters or tokens are needed. Pinball PA is open 6 days a week, and is the best and most affordable entertainment spot in all of Western Pennsylvania. Check out our website at www.pinballpa.com for more details. Come visit Pinball PA today. Initials up.
Aaron Tees and Signs has become your complete one-stop sign shop. Call Jimmy at 216-299-9344. Their friendly and professional staff can and will help you build your company brand and identity from start to finish. One stop means you get a complete package from one location. custom logo design, vehicle graphics, banners, t-shirts, storefront marquees, and so much more. Aaron Tees and Signs, 4883 Turney Road. Call us at 216-299-9344.
Right back here, the Seth Williams Show with Chris Aiken.
By the way, people are talking about Flat Earth Day. It is April 22nd. There's a day for anything.
Well, I think Flat Earth Day is actually Earth Day, but it's the same day.
Did they compromise it? Is that what happened?
I believe so. Because you can buy Flat Earth Day shirts on April 22nd.
All right, well, let me ask you this question. Which are you more inclined to celebrate, Earth Day or Flat Earth Day?
Look, the more that I've talked to Flat Earth guy, I mean, I know he has a real name, but that's what I'm going to continue to call him. But,
sure.
I have my doubts about what's actually going on with this planet of ours.
Okay.
It definitely, he makes some compelling arguments. I don't want to get into all of it, obviously, right now. And I don't even know what he's going to talk about on Monday. He's got conspiracy theories like you've never heard before.
Right.
But the flat Earth thing is compelling when he's actually allowed to talk and give his points.
Well, I think
rambling from some drunk people.
I think we'll allow that to happen.
Yeah, the plan is to allow that.
Yeah. Although I could go get a nice fifth or whatever and just start drinking like an hour before the show.
What does Gary the Numbers guy make of the number 69? I'd love to talk to that guy. All right, do you have a thing with numbers?
I do not. I mean, I used to have a thing with the time of 6:20 because I used to wake up every day for like 10 years at 6:20. So I thought there was some magic to that, but I could never get it to hit on like a lotto or scratch off or any of that nonsense. So
I am by no means a numerologist, but there are the numbers 11 and 12 seem to pop up in my day probably 4,000 times, and it just so happens when I keep looking at them. Like I'll be walking. I don't walk anywhere. When I'm driving down the street with my wife or something,
you don't drive anywhere.
I don't drive anywhere either, but I drive with my wife. But I happen to look over the mailbox and I see either like 83921112. I always see the numbers 11 or 12 all the time, whether it's on a clock, whether it's on a mailbox, whether it's whatever. I happen to see numbers that either add up to 11 or the actual number is 11. And I was watching South Park the other day, my highbrow TV that I watch. And I was watching the addresses on some of the houses.
Right.
And it's 1002, 1001, 2001, all 11s and 12s.
Right.
And so I'm starting to think that maybe there is a thing.
Well, it could be.
I was in a new hotel the other day. They didn't have a floor 13. I thought they didn't do the whole superstitious 13 stuff anymore. No, I think that there's a lot of places that still don't do floor 13.
And you know why? It's not that they're superstitious. It's that people going into the hotel are superstitious and won't want to stay on the 13th floor. That's really what it comes down to.
That has to be it, yeah.
It's not that the people that... I guarantee you Paris Hilton's dad doesn't give a shit about 13. But it wouldn't shock me at all if they just don't have a 13th floor. And they just tell people, yeah, you're on the 14th floor, 1422 or whatever. You know.
But numbers, for some reason, and I've talked to Gary the Numbers guy numerous times, some of his stuff I think is, I guess, okay. I mean, he talks about like Tiger Woods, LeBron James being born in the same whatevers, and add this, that, and they are champions because of it. But I don't know that I follow all that, but I do have a thing when it comes to like 11 and 12. So now I become, because I'm kind of, sorry, I was going to swear. Okay. I become kind of screwy with stuff because I'm a little bit OCD at times.
Sure.
Now I set my alarms for, I had to get up at 7 o'clock this morning, so I set my alarm for 7:04 and 7:05. So that way it was 11 and 12 when it would go off.
That's funny. I never have done the numbers thing. And I think a part of it is that I'm such an aholic that if I start doing numbers like that, I will absolutely end up in that casino. I'll be in that casino playing roulette like an idiot. You know, the probably the worst game you could possibly play in a casino, and that'll be me being like, oh, I got a hunch about 18 today.
Lose it all.
Here's here's $1,000. I'm done. You know, it's like, ugh, no. But I've never done the numbers thing like that.
I've never played roulette, but my wife and
you might as well you get more pleasure out of burning your money.
But I mean, red or black, but does that not pay a lot?
Not as much. And if you call the wrong number on the right color, you still don't pay. So roulette sucks. I mean, there's combinations and stuff in roulette. Like you ever watched where they'll put the chips like in a corner so that it's like 4 numbers and they're all red or they're all black or whatever. So you can hit, but if it's not the right color, then you lose.
Yeah, I don't know. My wife
it sucks.
We're talking about going to casino. A week from tomorrow.
Okay.
Because the 27th is our 18-year anniversary.
Wow, look at you.
And so we got married in Vegas. So we were talking about going to a casino somewhere and just to kind of recreate a little bit of that. We don't have money, obviously, a lot of money. So, it'd be a 10-minute trip. But we're still talking about doing it just for old time's sake and because we got married in Vegas. And so I'm trying to figure out, these slot machines are just for shit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so tough to win on any of those things that maybe, is there a game out there you think that is better for me to play other than a slot machine, or is that just a bunch of crap?
Do you have the patience to actually pay attention to what other people are doing at the card table?
I mean, are you saying like blackjack or something like that?
Yeah, because blackjack is usually, if you can pay attention to what everybody's doing, you should be able to do okay at blackjack. Okay. Again, not great, but yeah, slot machines, again, you might as well just throw the money on the floor, and just play with your phone.
Because I used to go to the casino with Triv when we do like some of the broadcasts and stuff. Mm-hmm. And we go outside in the patio and we're smoking, whatever. And I'd see him just whip out a big bill, slap it into the slot machine we were sitting at. Mm-hmm. And 5 minutes later, the bill is gone.
Right.
And I'm sitting there going, aren't you pissed? He's like, no, I only bet what I can afford to lose.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And he'd whip out another bill, put it in, and he'd play it again. And sometimes he would hit, sometimes he wouldn't. And I would just sit there like, man, I just can't. I get pissed when I go into these casinos and I get 10 and I'm sitting, put it in and it's gone within like 2 minutes. And I just wasted $10. $10 is like a meal somewhere.
Yeah.
And I just threw it in the machine for nothing.
Mm-hmm. Dude, I go to the Roxino a lot for shows. Yeah. That's kind of my home stomp because it's like 10 minutes from my house. So I go to the Roxino a lot for shows. And a lot of times I go with Kelly, and me and Kelly will get there early, and she loves to play the slots. And she'll be in there just going ching, 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 ching. I'm like, what are you doing? But she actually wins sometimes. Like, I've seen her win like $100. Me, I could put $10,000 in and I wouldn't win a quarter. I am a moosh. Isn't that what they call it? A mush?
Yeah.
That's me. I will lose now, but I have played blackjack at the casino in Cleveland, and I've done okay. I won I don't know, $2,000. I won $2,000 playing blackjack.
The only time I've ever won really any kind of money at a casino was in Vegas, because I think a lot of those places they want you to just sit there and keep gambling, and so I think your payouts are probably a little bit better in a place like that than it is up here, because up here I haven't won anything at these places. Now, I don't go a lot because, to me, it's just wasting my money.
Sure. Yeah.
They say if you don't play, you can't win. I mean, that's true.
Yeah, but you know what? Then you might as well just put the lottery app on your phone. If you're if you know you're going to win, you're not going to win, and you're not having fun doing it,
Yeah.
Like I'm a believer that a lot of people that go to the casino just have fun gambling, and they don't care. They have X amount of money that is like I don't care money,
Right.
which I don't have that either. Even though I do okay, if I lose $20, I'm like pissed.
Yeah.
Because it's like you know what? I had to sit for 15 minutes and do this or do coding or something that I didn't like doing to get this stupid money. So it bugs me. It bugs me, and I don't enjoy it a lot. But if you enjoy it, it's fine. But if you don't enjoy it, you might as well just do the lottery.
Might as well go to the strip club, tying everything
Good
together.
point.
Absolutely.
Good point.
If you're going to waste $20, I'd rather see that. Did you ever think you would see the day where sports gambling is legal everywhere and they actually promote that stuff?
You know what? Let's talk about that for a minute. That single change, and I know you and Chiselka talked about it when it first went live in January.
Yep.
That single change absolutely wrecked what little love I had still for sports. It is awful to watch sports now because they're constantly with the betting lines.
They are.
It's I watched the whole XFL season this year. Enjoyed it. I enjoy the XFL. But I mean, every stupid thing they're showing you a betting line on. Every stupid thing is hey, what are the odds that this kickoff goes back for a touchdown? What are the odds that they get back to the 30, to the 40, to the 50? It's like enough, and I don't even know what some of these betting lines mean, because I've been a little bit out of it. I mean, when you see a betting line, and again, I don't know it, but when I see a betting line and it's the Indians are likely to lose to the Padres, they're minus 380 or whatever. What does that mean?
Yeah, I have no idea what that means.
Baseball games are like 4-3. What does negative or positive 380 mean?
I don't really understand that stuff either. And, I guess I wouldn't mind betting some of this, some of the easier bets, some of the football stuff that I actually understand.
Sure.
But I've been addicted to pretty much everything in my life.
Right.
That I just don't want to get another one. And I lose too much money.
Yeah, that's the hardest part is no one wants to lose the money. If you're doing it for fun, it's the same as you would pay to go to a movie or something. You're throwing or to do whatever you would do for fun, go to a baseball game, go to a football game, whatever. If that's what you get for entertainment, that's fine. But if you actually care about the money, then you might as well not gamble because you're just going to hate yourself. There's Scott Deitche. Do you want to go right to him, Seth?
Yeah, I guess we might as well.
All right.
Or should I take a break real quick?
Let's go right to him.
All right.
That way we get our time in before Charlie calls.
Let's bring our guest on. Mr.
There
Scott
he is.
Deitche, author,
Hey, guys.
expert in the all things mafia, mob related. How are you, my friend?
Doing well. Sorry about the delay.
No, you're fine. I assumed that you were taken by the mafia, held captive, and were actually able to get out in time to come on the show.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Scott, as you're well aware, man, we chatted with Michael Franzese last week, and it got us completely sucked into the mob again.
Yeah.
And we figured who better to talk to than you about the mob, and let's start with Franzese because Franzese, I know you're aware of this. He asked me to do security for him on Saturday at his speaking engagement here in Cleveland. So my first question as a mob expert, is Saturday my last day on the planet?
No, not at all. He was one of the first guys really in the late 80s to come out with that book, Quitting the Mob. He was one of the first ones to kind of leave that. So, we're talking 30 years out. So yeah, you're good. You're safe.
Did you happen to watch the whole interview that we did with Franzese?
I caught part of it. I do need to, and I will put it up on some of my socials as well. But I appreciate you asking the questions on there. That was really, really good.
Sure. Well, did you think that? My question is, as somebody that knows this stuff inside and out, did we do a good job, or did we come off as novices? Because I didn't know, I had no idea how to lead into him.
No, I think it came off great, and plus, you guys like that stuff anyway, so you have probably more of a passing interest than most people. So yeah, I think it came out great.
See, now one of the things that I wanted to ask him, and I thought it would be too novice to ask him, is about these movies like the Goodfellas and the Godfathers and all that kind of stuff, to see if he actually thought that kind of stuff related to the actual mob life. I mean, would that have been a dumb question, or are these movies for real, or are they not?
No, that would have been a good question. And I think he did something maybe for Esquire a few years ago where he looked at like a few of those movies and kind of gave his thoughts on it. But no, there's some of those movies, especially the ones like Donnie Brasco that are based on real life incidents. Yeah, sure, some of it's going to be a little bit Hollywooded up, but a lot of them, especially the ones based on true stories, kind of stick close to the facts and kind of give at least a pretty good feel of what it's like. Certainly from my conversations with other wise guys over the years.
Have you watched any that that you've researched? Because you've done a ton of research for your books and obviously for the documentaries that you're featured in. Have you watched any of the movies where you were just like, this is blatantly wrong, none of this happened?
Well, I mentioned Donnie Brasco. So in the movie Donnie Brasco, which is a great movie, Al Pacino, Johnny Depp, Michael Madsen, Bruno Kirby's in it. But there's a whole section of that movie that takes place in Florida. And in the movie, it all takes place kind of in Miami, South Florida, where they meet Santo Trafficante. In reality, it took place outside of Tampa. And they kind of intimate in the movie that Trafficante was involved with kind of keeping them out of Florida. But in reality, the FBI set up this elaborate sting operation. So it was a little, again, kind of Hollywood, a glamorization of the storyline. So it wasn't a wholly accurate, but just because I had that Tampa background, I was like, oh man, you're so close to getting it right.
Well, speaking of the Tampa thing, talk a little bit about your ties to Tampa and because I'm sure we have a lot of people here in Cleveland that go to Florida for vacations, and you offer what I think has got to be the coolest tour that you can go to that's not going to cost you $6,000, and a pair of mouse ears to go see, that being your Tampa Mafia tour. So talk a little bit about that, man.
Yeah, we've been doing it now well over a decade, maybe 13, 14 years. So we run them primarily from September to May, kind of, off what you would probably run them in Cleveland, where you would run them in the summer, but it's just too damn hot to walk around outside during the day. And it's a tour through Ybor City, which is a historic neighborhood in Tampa, which was largely Cuban, Spanish, Italian, small German and Romanian Jewish population, kind of a really interesting ethnic community that was founded by the cigar industry. And that's kind of the neighborhood where some of the organized crime developed. And because it's a historic district, a lot of the old buildings are still around, not all of them, but a lot. And it's a nice, about a mile loop walking tour that we do. And yeah, we do them from September to May. We do Saturday ones, we do a happy hour one, and people really still seem to enjoy it.
Right on. Well, Scott, with the tour itself, when you take people around, especially for 13 years of doing it, I'm sure you get the same questions over and over again. How do you keep it fresh for yourself? I know you try to keep it fresh for the new people that are going through it for the first time, but let's be honest, if you're doing the same thing the same time over and over for 13 years, that's awfully, awfully difficult. How do you keep it fresh for yourself? Are you still like investigating and finding new little nooks and crannies of that story?
Yeah, that's exactly how I do it. I have a set, there's a few set spots that you have to go to all the time. And then we have different spots or news stories in different areas that will kind of exchange in and out. Sometimes by necessity, if part of the tour, like if there's an event in Ybor and I can't get to a certain area, I have, backup spots. So I always kind of shifted around, but even at the spots I go to, I'm constantly digging back like through old newspapers. Oh, there was a raid of illegal gambling raid here in 1933. I can add that into the story and take something out. So yeah, it's, you're going to have to play the classics, to use kind of a metal parlance,
Right.
that everyone wants to hear, but you throw in some deep cuts every so often. And I do get repeat customers. So people that haven't, come a couple years later and they'll be like, oh, I don't remember this spot. So that kind of keeps it fresh.
How did you become like an authority on this topic? How did you get into the mob and mafia and all that?
So I grew up in New Jersey, hence the general interest in the topic. And back in the early 90s, I just started reading whatever mob books were out there. So like Wise Guy by Nick Pileggi, the Westies, T.J. English, some of the old Hank Messick books. George Anastasia was starting to come out with some of his Philadelphia mob books. And then I met a gentleman online in like 95 when there was literally not much at all online, but there was a guy that had a mafia website, and I started corresponding with this historian in England, and I had moved to the Tampa Bay area at that point. He said, hey, have you ever heard of the Tampa Mafia? Do you know anything about them? I was like, not really. So he sent me copies of these congressional hearings from 1950, and there's great stories of like gangland killings and illegal gambling, all the juicy stuff you like in a mob story. And that kind of was like, oh, maybe I'll write a book about this. So that kind of started it. My first book came out in 2004, and yeah, it's been kind of a whirlwind since then in terms of, coming out with books. I had the tour, doing stuff like this. And yeah, so it's been interesting and fun. And before I forget, you mentioned Cleveland before. I did want to say that there definitely are some Cleveland ties in Florida. The Cleveland mob were active, probably more so kind of in the Miami, Fort Lauderdale area, but there were a lot of guys from Ohio in general that came down and were active down here in Florida for a while.
Right on. And it's fun. I was watching, because I'm just obsessed with the mob again this week, because if I get asked a question or something on Saturday, I want to make sure I know the answer.
Yeah.
It's really that simple. But yeah. So this afternoon I was watching Kill the Irishman, which is obviously the Danny Green thing. And I went to Google, and I saw that literally recently that Danny Green's wife just passed away, that she was like 95, that Nancy Hegler or Nancy Green just passed away. I'm curious in your, passings and dealings, if you ever heard whatever became of her. And the reason I'm asking that is because she seemed like she was a very important person to his life, but it didn't seem like anybody ever actively targeted her, even to make a statement to him to back off. And I was just curious if she was somehow protected, or if she was a total innocent and the mob just knew it and left her alone, or what?
Well, generally from the mob perspective, they don't go after wives or kids or, families, even if she was tangentially involved. And there have been many cases about wives or girlfriends being kind of tangentially involved. I'd be a little bit more surprised that law enforcement didn't go after her, because the FBI in the past has done the, hey, we're going to arrest your wife and kind of pressure you kind of thing. So, but yeah, generally from the mob perspective, they rarely, if ever, knowingly target family members or innocent bystanders, if you will.
What really destroyed the mafia? I mean, was it drugs? Was it the fact that they started getting into stuff like that? What kind of killed off the main mafia scene?
Yeah. The RICO Act, law enforcement played a really, really big part in dismantling organized crime's hold. Some families like Denver or St. Louis, so even though there was law enforcement, it also, they were smaller families. They just kind of faded away over time. But law enforcement, I think if you had to like really winnow it down, because now guys were facing 50, 60-year prison sentences. So, what are they going to do? They're going to become witnesses. And that kind of gets that domino effect going through. And also now, if you're a mobster, illegal gambling, hey, gambling's legal everywhere.
Yeah.
drugs, marijuana's, their unions aren't as big as they were. So I think a lot of those traditional rackets have kind of dried up or become legal.
Do you think that it would have, and I'll quote, the famous quote from The Godfather, which Seth will not know anything about since he's never
I got
seen
the
movie.
shirt.
Never seen the movie.
Oh my God.
That's,
got the shirt.
That's not even American.
Jesus.
But the famous scene in The Godfather where Vito turns down what's his name, Sollozzo, because he doesn't want to get involved into the drugs, into the drug business. Do you think that if the mob as a whole would have stuck to that line, which I know I'm comparing a movie to real life, but if they would have stuck to that line and stayed out of drugs and just stayed more with gambling and women and numbers and stuff like that, do you think that we may never have even seen the proliferation of RICO because the government was okay to look away from that?
No, and kind of going out on a theory limb here. Well, first of all, the mafia has been involved in drugs since the very beginning. So
okay,
the mafia was involved in drugs all the way back pre-prohibition era, and certainly post-prohibition really started to open up routes for narcotics to enter the U.S. And the mafia were there from the beginning. Now, some mafia families later on, kind of as RICO and other laws and law enforcement started paying attention, started trying to steer members away from that. But really, I think the mafia got so big it was hard for law enforcement to not notice. In terms of infiltration of labor unions, infiltration of legitimate businesses. So, I mean, drugs did play a part, but the mafia were so heavily involved in drugs from the beginning. In fact, before the FBI even investigated the mafia, the Bureau of Narcotics had voluminous files on major mafia figures around the U.S.
Do you think that the government kind of took cues from the mafia and kind of wanted them shut down so the government could actually start the rackets that they're doing today? And maybe that's why they wanted the mafia gone, so they could start being the mafia?
Well,
did we freeze?
Did you guys?
There you are.
Yeah, you froze for a second. Can you hear me? Yeah, there we go.
Yep.
Sorry. Well, I mean, the government hired the mafia to help them kill Fidel Castro in the early '60s. So I think I think they viewed it as maybe in certain segments a partnership.
Right. Will you write a book about the new mafia family known as the Bidens?
I don't want to get into politics. I'm probably on the other side of the coin from you politically, but I don't have a problem with exposing anybody for anyone. If you look at the long history of political corruption, there's certainly been plenty of stuff from both sides of the aisle. I definitely
agree with that.
Yeah, I mean the political corruption aspect is another reason I think that the mafia were able to, get so entrenched. If you look at, all the way up in some instances. So,
right on. Well, Scott, we haven't really talked about. We talked about your tours, but the other thing that we should definitely plug are your books. I have several of them, which are great. I personally am a fan of this one the most, the Hitman, the Purple Gang one, but I also like the Silent Dawn as well. So talk a little bit about your books and where people should go to get the books and keep up with you and all that stuff.
Yeah, so I've kind of brought all my stuff under one website. It's easy, tampamafia.com. You can find information about the tours there. We have some stories up online, some stuff I've written over the years for local magazines and my website. You can find out information on my books. Links to purchase them and other links to find out other things that I'm doing. Usually, some of the stuff I've done with you guys in the past, I've posted up on the video section with links. So yeah, tampamafia.com, the easiest way to find out. And you can reach me that way as well.
Very good.
Tampamafia.com.
That's right.
Yep. Right. Super easy.
All right. Well, Scott, this has been fun, man. What are we missing that you want people to know before we check out here?
That it's 2023 and we're still talking about the mafia and they're still active. So it's a never-ending source of fascination for people, and it's great for me. As long as people keep interested in it, I'll keep writing books.
I'll tell you what, I'm super excited, one, to pick up one of your books, because I don't have them yet, but also this coming Saturday for us to go see Michael Franzese. I see a different pronunciation everywhere I go, but I just love hearing the stories. I think it's a hell of a lifestyle that's glorified now, but maybe shouldn't be glorified when it comes down to it. But it definitely is fascinating. I think that's what it is with people. It's like watching something that we could never experience, and it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, that should be great. And Chris, I mentioned to you that he's, I talked to this guy. They're thinking about maybe doing something in Florida as well. So yeah, I think you guys will have a great time.
Can't wait. And hopefully I'll still be around Monday to tell all about
it. Are you going to have to wear like a suit, with a black shirt, the white tie? And
you know what? I have not heard from their guy yet, but I'm prepared to go either mob suit or tracksuit. If I could go Sopranos mode and go all tracksuit as well. So
that'd be great.
See, I want to see Chris underneath my car checking for bombs and everything else before we go in. So I'm looking forward to it. So
nice,
good. But thank you, Scott, for joining us tonight. Much appreciated, man.
All right, thanks, guys. Always a pleasure.
Thank you. All right. Scott Deitche, fantastic, good stuff. TampaMafia.com.
Yeah, he's great. He's great, and we didn't even touch on it with Scott, but for any of you that watch documentaries about the mob, he's in damn near every one of them. Like he's a really, really, like, he's one of those guys that anytime anybody does anything on the mob, he gets that call. So he's easily in 30 or 40 documentaries.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to just sit my entire life, the rest of the week, watching mafia documentaries, movies, and everything else.
Yeah, you better be ready. You already failed the test once. They might not let you in the door.
We have backstage all access passes for Saturday night, the 24th, 7 p.m. Lorraine Palace Theater, and I don't want to be questioned by the man himself. And
what if they ask you? I don't think you could answer the same question they asked you the first time, even though we've gone over the answers.
Yeah, I forgot even what question it was already. So
it was who were the 5 guys killed at the end of The Godfather?
Yeah.
And you can't name one, can you?
Absolutely I can. Tony, rigatoni, spaghetti, and sauce.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it, though. We're going to have a good time.
Wait.
All right, from one mafia to another, we're going to talk about the Lakewood City Council here.
That's a real mob.
Yeah, that's a real mob. You want to talk about people screwing people over? We're going to talk about that with one of our great friends, Charlie Callani, in about 2 minutes. All right?
All right.
Hang on.
What separates Triv's restaurant in Strongsville from everybody else? Some restaurants you go to eat the same thing over and over and over. But then there are restaurants like Triv's, where you want to go there every single time and eat something different until you have eaten every single item on the menu. Why? Because the food's delicious, and it has been for almost a quarter of a century. Triv's has amazing food, outstanding service, and an opportunity for you to have private dining, special events, and intimate occasions. You can enjoy a memorable fine dining experience in your own dedicated, intimate space. Visit Triv's in the heart of Strongsville. Call now for reservations, 440-238-8830. Triv's in Strongsville. Joe Burdick custom flags are amazing. Each flag is handcrafted to reflect the imperfect perfection, making each piece of patriotic wall art unique. This is a local small business, veteran-owned and proud. Joe Burdick creates symbolic artwork that is built to last. Display your spirit, pride, and patriotism by calling 440-305-2065 and let Joe's flag serve you. 440-305-2065. Joe Burdick Flags. Let me introduce you to Charlie's Auto Repair. Any car, any truck, any problem, Charlie's does it right. You know how it is. The check your engine light comes on, you put air in the tires, And the light is still on. 216-470-0170. That's Charlie's Auto Repair, 13728 Madison in Lakewood. Charlie can do it all, from small engine repair to fleet maintenance and system diagnostics. 216-470-0170. Charlie's Auto Repair. Let Charlie make your car great once again.
Right back here, the Seth Williams Show. Chris Aiken with me. Fantastic stuff. Scott Deitche was good.
Yes, absolutely.
The second you asked him about the government, his stream went crazy. They're watching everything. I totally agree.
Probably true.
All right. Again, from one mob to another, the city of Lakewood, Charlie Callani joins us. Charlie's Auto Repair in Lakewood, my good friend. Charlie, how are you, my friend?
At least you can pronounce my last name.
Yeah, see? I got that down straight. That's
How you guys doing?
Fixed my car 9,000 times. And then made it so I can drive it now. Behind the wheel the other day with a stick, trying to make myself go forward and stop, and I did all right. So
just don't put anybody through the windshield. You'll be fine.
Yeah, look, it does stop quick. I'm telling you, man. I'm gonna have to I'm gonna have to like do the stop short method on whoever I'm in the car with. Make sure I go flying through because
we just saw that episode the other night.
Yeah. Nice. All right, so what's going on? You had a big problem. Explain to everybody first what's going on with the city of Lakewood and what's going on now with the city of Lakewood.
So the city's trying to pass an ordinance that only affects automotive repair garages. They say automotive business operations, I believe is what they call it at. Yeah, automobile business operations, but it's directed at automotive repair facilities. Namely mine, but we'll get into that a little later. What they're trying to do here, they're trying to regulate normal operation of an automotive repair garage. In the first draft, they had all kinds of just crazy nonsense in there about not being able to, about limiting spots on our own property, about trash, jail time if you violated any part of it. I'd say since the first draft, they got rid of probably about 75% of the crap that was in there, the stuff that was just, nobody could figure out, sewer, water, stuff that they wanted us to tear up our sewer lines and put separators in there and stuff. Now they made a new draft and it's better, but unfortunately there's still 90% of it, or I'm sorry, 99% of it. There's one thing in there that I appreciated that they tried to make a concession on, or actually looks like they actually tried to work with us on, and the rest of it is just bad law, and I'd say unconstitutional and illegal, invalid at that. One of the key sticking points here, the first problem I have is that they're still trying to push this permit to operate. Hang on one second. There we go. They're trying to push this permit to operate. And the problem I have with that is the conditions or the guidelines, for the longest time, nobody could tell me what they were. And the best answer that I've been able to come up with is that they want to make sure that we have readily accessible building capacity in order to determine if we're allowed to continue to operate or not. Well, I don't know what what are the guidelines? Who defines what this is? So now the city wants me to pay them $150 every year for them to come in here inside our property. And if we don't let them in, they don't give us a permit. And then they're going to use what the inside of the property looks like to gauge whether or not we should be allowed to operate. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm pretty sure first of all, we've been in operation in this location for over 50 years.
Right.
My dad started in the 70s. You know, I was practically born into it. Tell people I used to have a playpen in the front office. And now, so, you know, I think we are okay as far as if we can operate or not. I think we have that down. But, you know, if in my view, I think this is a scheme to shut us down, because if you're denied the initial permit, you can't continue to operate the way this is written. If you're denied a renewal, you can continue to operate while you seek the appeal process. But if on the initial permit, if you're denied, you can't continue operating, and then you file for the appeals process. The appeals process takes place with another part of the executive branch in the city, a group of people who nobody knows who they are. None of their information's on the city's website or anything, and called the Planning Commission. And if you go in front of the Planning Commission and they deny it, then you're SOL until you go, I don't know, take them to court or try to petition a judge or something. But the problem is, the funny thing is that Planning Commission, those people are appointed by the mayor and by the city council, the people who wrote this legislation.
Jeez.
So I'm sure they're going to be really friendly towards a business that's trying to stay open. That's something. I'm, you know, I this has obviously got to be a Fourth Amendment violation. How can you tell somebody you have to let the government come in to your property to do inspections, and oh, by the way, they're allowed to request any documentation that they want, and again, you have to give it to them, otherwise they don't give you the permit. And I could go through all this, and they could say, well, we don't think you have the capacity to operate. I mean, this is all arbitrary, you know, and subjective as far as I'm concerned.
Now, why were you not grandfathered in? I mean, is this just something that they're doing for everybody? Or, I mean,
well, I think in order to be grandfathered in, they would have to put a grandfather clause into the ordinance. And obviously they didn't, because they don't want to grandfather anybody in.
See, so I'm going to take a different stance here than maybe even you take. But I know that city, and I know how liberal that city is. And I know you, who is a staunch patriot, and it seems to me that they would target somebody like you.
Someone referred to me as an activist the other day, and I never really thought about it like
not
that.
An activist.
Thank you.
And I think that, I think a liberal city like that would absolutely target a business like yours, and that's unfortunate.
Well, I can't say that you're wrong. I've been trying to stay away from that, because I don't want to be like the kid, the kid in elementary school, like, oh, boo-hoo, nobody likes me. You know what I mean? But I was going to save this for later, but on that, I have had several people come up to me and tell me, other shop owners and a couple of city employees, and tell me that they've got no intention on enforcing this on anybody else but us. And that's why some of the other shops who are spineless, in my view, have gotten up and supported this at some of the city council meetings, because they've on their interactions with the city have been told they've got nothing to worry about.
Yeah, but all right.
But like I said, I'm trying to stay away from that. I'm trying to stay on top of the full side of the thing. And I've got case law already from federal court in Youngstown, in Youngstown, 2018 federal case that basically says these inspections are unconstitutional. They are a violation of the Fourth Amendment. Like I said, I'm trying to avoid, obviously if this does get passed, then it's going to be go time, file a lawsuit time. I'm trying to head it off and avoid all that if I can by keeping it from getting passed in the first place.
Right. Well, if any other shops are believing in the word of somebody that's saying that they're trying to screw over one guy, that's their stupidity, because what's to say they're not next in like oh, well, we won't target you. Why would you believe them?
Well,
That's
not
the
only
first
that,
thing. Go ahead.
but what, well, and I'll get to the next thing here in a second. But now what the heck? The next thing they want to do is they want to ban me from being able to use the public parking, ban our business from being able to use the public parking. Now, last I thought, public parking was public parking, but the mayor, who still refuses to give me clarification on this, I think I mentioned it the last time we talked, said that automotive repair garages are a private business and therefore shouldn't have access to public parking. So what does that make every other business in the city? Does that make them a public business? Like I said, I haven't been able to get an answer out of her. I asked her 3 times since all this garbage started. But how do you enforce something like that? I mean, on top of being also illegal and a violation of the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment, how do you enforce something like that? You might going to have surveillance and somebody's sitting here watching me 20 a day. Oh, you parked that vehicle over there and it doesn't belong to you, so you're in violation of this new ordinance.
Yeah, or what if a customer parks on the street?
Yeah,
and comes into your place? Are you liable for that? Or are they liable? I mean, who's liable then?
So according to them, and that's what I brought up after the first draft was issued. It's not a problem until it's in my custody. Okay. Mm-hmm. So their argument is that our business takes control of other people's cars, whereas other businesses, you go to a restaurant, you eat at the restaurant, then you go leave. But either way, it's public parking. You can't. The streets of the city are held in the trust for the benefit of all of the public. Okay, not just for who happens to be in favor with the city officials at the time they enact the law. Okay, that's court language right there. That's already settled law language right there. There was a case where a police officer told a city official that he wasn't allowed to park his personal vehicle in a private parking space. The guy told the police chief to eat glass, and they fired him. So then he sued and he won in an appeals court in the state of Ohio.
Wow.
So,
Charlie, what is the and I don't know the answer to this, but how does this case law that they're trying to get in compare to other local cities like Cleveland or Euclid or Tremont or wherever? Is it the same? Is it widely different?
No city that I've been able to find, no municipality, regulates a business like this. You've got the state has their EPA regulations. The county Board of Health takes care of restaurants and stuff like that. Restaurants, in order to operate, you're dealing with food. They get inspected. I believe that's what I've been told. I don't know. I don't own a restaurant, but but that's the county. No municipality, and the city of Lakewood doesn't. We would be the only type of business in the city of Lakewood where they would require a yearly inspection. Okay. They don't require yearly inspections on rental properties, if that tells you anything. And Lakewood is full of rental properties. Now, I'm sure they'd like to change that at some point. I know they just changed one part of the law requiring inspections on rental properties, but just one initial one, and then that's it. Not this yearly garbage.
So apparently there's no valet parking in Lakewood because they take control of your car. So I'm assuming that's not happening.
No.
And you see, like
Angelo's Pizza used to do valet parking. I haven't seen them do it for a while.
And I'll tell you what, Angelo's parking is for crap, and people park all over the place when they go in to get that pizza, and that's their business. And they don't.
Funny you say that.
What do they do with that place?
Funny you say that, because I've been trying to avoid, acting in this manner and stay somewhat respectable here. But earlier today, I posted a picture of Angelo's, or the corner Angelo's is on, with about 25 people lined up outside, because today's Monday is buy one, get one if you eat inside the restaurant. Well, on one hand, you're telling me there's no parking, but on the other hand, they get to do this. I guess all those people must have walked here.
Yeah. Just say you're LGTS.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm gonna start selling vape pens and medicinal weed, and maybe they'll leave me alone.
And they'll probably leave you alone. I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it if they tried to shut you down and put some kind of crap into that spot, because that's what Lakewood seems to me. I don't know what's going on in that town.
If they were to try that, I mean, we'd have a problem. Because I'm not gonna stop working. I mean, and I don't. But I'm trying not to get into the hypotheticals and everything. But I really don't think this is going to go that far. If it does, it does. But,
when's the next meeting on this?
Tomorrow night at 7:30. So if you're a Lakewood resident, if you're a customer of ours, if you're somebody that just thinks that this is some severe government overreach, if you work in Lakewood, it's open to the public and it's available for public comment. So if you want to come down and make public comment, that'd be, I'd be much appreciated on our end. I'm trying to focus. I'm trying to keep the politics out of it. I'm trying to keep the whole liberal conservative thing out of it, and just focus on the government overreach, the legal part of this. And like I said, there's plenty in the legal side of it, as far as I can see, that nullifies most of this.
I agree with you. They're trying to keep the liberal conservative thing out of it, but at the same time, that's part of that government overreach. That is what's going on.
Well, that's true. That's true. But like I said, I think
Jim says he's going to help raise your bail.
I think that if we just stay on that topic, I think it's enough. Yeah. Like I said, the last thing I want to do is go in there and boo-hooing about, you're just treating me like this because of who I am, even though it's true. I mean, the mayor's father tried coming after us about 15 years ago when he was mayor of the city of Lakewood. So, at the same time, I can't help but think, if she's just trying to finish some vendetta that he started.
Jeez.
Because anything's possible.
So I'm looking forward to seeing what goes on with this, because I think that they're giving you a raw deal. So tomorrow night, and what time did you say? 7:30.
Starts at 7:30. If you can't come, if you go on the City of Lakewood's website, you go lakewood.lakewood.gov/Lakewood-city-council, or just click on the City Council tab at the top of the screen. You can scroll down. You can click on that day's meeting, and then you can submit what's called an e-comment. Just make sure you follow the directions before you type up anything, because if you go to submit it and you're not registered or you don't have an account, then you lose whatever you typed up.
So when is this all going to be wrapped up? When is the final decision going to be happening?
So that's another thing that I can't get a straight answer on. One city council person tells me that tomorrow night is supposed to be the last read, and that they're going to vote on it after that. Another city council person tells me that no, this is only the second read, and that they're not going to vote on it until the following meeting. That's the kind of, shenanigans, if you will, that I got to deal with here. On top of everything else, originally, after it was introduced, it went to a committee called the Planning, Housing, and Development Committee, which is made up of a couple of city council people. The first committee meeting we went to started at 6:30. Then they kept it in the committee because they wanted to look at it some more or whatever. So they had the second committee meeting last Monday on the 12th. Now, the Friday before that, we called to find out if it was going to be on the agenda and what time it was going to start. The lady told us it was on the agenda and the meeting was going to start at 6:30. We get there at 6:27 and they're adjourning the meeting because they started it at 6.
Wow.
So there was no opposition. A couple other shops said they had no problem with it. And they decided to kick it back to the city council, which now is what I have to deal with tomorrow.
It's crazy stuff, man. Well, I'm wishing you the best of luck. And I know that I'm not a big fan of the last place that I worked, but I did get somebody reaching out to me wanting to talk to you from the news department. So if you'd like to do that, I will pass along your info.
Yeah, sure.
Because I think the more we can spread the word, the better.
Absolutely.
Oh, and by the way, the penalty now is $1,000 fine, or and up to 500 hours community service.
Wow.
If I park a car if I block one of my garage doors, that's another part of this. They don't want me blocking up any of the bays or the garage doors on our property. Remember, last time I thought it said Callani over the front door, not City of Lakewood. And on parking in front of my garage door, how many times do you guys hear about, somebody backs a van through a door or a window and steals a cash machine or whatever? Well, why do you think we park cars in front of our garage doors? Because that stuff's been going on for the last 60 years. We've been parking in front of our garage doors since day one for that reason. And a couple of years ago, that very thing happened where somebody was able to break out the bottom of one of our garage doors and get in here. And before the cops showed up after the alarm went off, they made off with about $50,000 worth of stuff.
True.
And see, that's the thing, man. I mean, and also, how about this? You're a successful business that has a lot of cars to work on, and you have to have your space occupied with cars so you can do business.
Well, according to them, I should tell people I can't work on your car, come back another day. Well, that's probably fine for some people, but what would you do if I said, oh, I can't, you need brakes, your brakes are grinding. I'm sorry, I don't have time to do it today. Normally I would tell you to drop it off and, leave it till tomorrow, or if I get some time, I'll get it in between a couple other jobs. But now instead I got nowhere to put it. So now I have to tell you, go drive your unsafe vehicle and bring it back. Hopefully you don't kill anybody in the meantime and bring it back another day. Are you going to bring it back, or are you going to go take it somewhere else where you can get it repaired?
And how many times have I had to call you? And how many times have I had to call you and have you tow the car to your shop? Because again, it's not going anywhere without your help.
Right.
I mean, screw these people. So, well, good luck tomorrow night. You got to let us know what happens.
Yeah, for sure. I'll talk to you then. And
I gave your number to our news department over at the other place that I used to work for. So not my news department, but the other news department. And so they're going to be contacting you to get the word out as well.
I appreciate that, Seth. Thank you.
All right.
Hey, thank you for everything, my man.
No problem. You guys have a good rest of your night.
I'll talk to you soon. All right, bye, Charlie. It's crazy, man. It really is.
It is. That's nutty.
Leave this guy alone, man. Let him do his business.
Meanwhile, we can have the Lido Lounge open, doing whatever the hell they want,
right?
And he can't do legit business.
Yeah, let me tell you what's going on in that place. You probably don't want to know. All right, we'll take a quick break and be right back and wrap it up.
All right.
Hang on.
There's no place like home, and whether it's furniture, artwork, home accessories, appliances, or that one-of-a-kind collectible, Yellow Brick Road Online Auctions allows you to find everything you need from the comfort of your own home. The owner of Yellow Brick Road Auctions has been conducting online estate auctions for over 8 years by providing homeowners with a stress-free process to liquidate all items that have accumulated over the years.
I'm Melissa Mendici, owner of Yellow Brick Road Auctions. Log on today to find your heart's desire.
Hey, it's Seth from Mario's Barbershop in Parma, 7526 Broadview Road in the Pleasant Valley Shopping Center right next to Big Lots. You got to check out Mario, man. Great guy, does a lot for charities, but can perform miracles with hair. He even made me look clean cut. Does my hair, does a great job. Love talking to the guy while I'm sitting there. It's a great place to go, local business. You gotta go to Mario's Barbershop in Parma. Mario's Barbershop in Parma, 7526 Broadview Road. Again, in Parma, Pleasant Valley Shopping Center, right next to Big Lots. Or give them a call, 216-520-1977. That's 216-520-1977. Mario's Barbershop in Parma.
Trust Joe's Lakewood Computer at 14035 Madison in Lakewood. They have over 30 years of professional service handling laptop and desktop repair services, virus removal, and data migration, and much more. You can trust them with hardware updates to your computer's memory and hard drive. Call 216-651-3880. Whether you need a simple Windows install or you're interested in the latest computers for gaming, call Joe's Lakewood Computer at 216-651-3880.
And now I'm standing next to the president again, next to a collapsed bridge here. And he is here to commit to work with the governor and the delegation to make sure that we get this fixed quick, fast as well, too. This is a president that is committed to infrastructure. Yeah, and then on top of that, the dual kind of a law of the inflation bill that is going to make sure that there's going to be bridges all across like this, all across America getting rebuilt.
Good stuff right there, man. That's a senator for you.
You know somebody's a dummy when Biden looks at him and says, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah, Biden's like, huh?
What a moron.
Man, I don't know who's a bigger moron. I mean, the problem is he's not a moron. At least he's sick. The bigger moron is the people that voted for him.
Well, that's the real problem is what Pennsylvania, and Lord knows that one does affect me because I have a business in Pennsylvania. So,
Yeah.
Oh, hate that. I hate seeing that fool.
Infration.
The infration.
Thank you to Scott Deitche for joining us tonight. Charlie Callani for joining us tonight. That was interesting. Talked a lot about strippers and porn and
the mob and
National Toilet Day and crapping all over the place. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, this was one of the faster ones. This went that fast
super
tonight.
Quick. Wednesday, Tony Masashi will be joining us. We will hopefully have another guest for you.
Yeah, we're not sure yet, but we should.
Working on that. I appreciate everybody listening. And don't forget, Wednesday is also the first police event.
That's right.
3rd District. Smoking rock and roll. Billy Morris going to be feeding the police. Joe Burdick going to be giving a flag to the cops down there. So if you can, make it down there, get some food, and enjoy the day.
That's right.
3rd District. Should be fun, and we will talk to you Wednesday evening.
See ya.
Have a great one. See ya.